Yaya Mavundla,
Hello.
welcome to the Penuel show. I was quite honored to bump into you at the nominations
Yes, at
for the Feather Awards
Yes.
with your mate, not my mate, Tammy Dish and Asula there.
What do you mean? I thought you guys are like...
No, Tammy Dish is friends with my brother. But he likes
okay.
thinking because he's close with my brother that he's close with me. Ngobuya Papa.
Oh my gosh.
So, anyways,
Okay.
no, I'm kidding. By the way, shout out to Tammy Dish and the Feather Awards.
Absolutely.
So we met at the nominations there. I want to give a shout out to Andi Swakebashe, who I believe was the MC there. We've had her here before because she's an activist for the deaf community
Yes.
and for sign language in particular.
Yeah, incredible person.
I'm honored that you're here. I was a fan of yours before I met you.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't want to say this on camera, but I'll say it because you gave me a blessing. There was a lady I was seeing, and we used to enjoy watching Becoming at the time.
Thank you.
The conversations that it would spark around others, around alternative sexuality, and was pretty dope. And of all the people that were there, I think you were our favorite. So I have to say, and since then we have heard you speak. The amount of respect and care and positivity you have, it doesn't seem real.
I know.
And I don't even know if it is real.
That's why my relationships most of the time, well, let me not say all of them because I've only had like a few relationships, but they don't last based on that because I think most of the men would think I'm putting in a mask if I'm saying it's okay.
That you're fake.
No, if you are doing something...
No, they think you're fake.
Yes, if you're doing something wrong to me and I let it go, they think it can't be. A person is expecting me to be mad and I'm not going to do that to myself. I need to take off these. I'm sorry. So I let things go. I forgive people a lot. My friend was saying to me, yeah, I don't understand how do you do it, that you are able to hang around people that have done you dirty, that have done you wrong, and you still speak to them. But I always say, I don't want that energy to follow me. To say there are people that I don't think there's a person that's me now I hate.
But where does that come from for you? Were you raised Christian? Were you raised in a forgiving family?
I think growing up, I suffered a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Dislike from family, dislike from the outside community at school.
Why didn't people like you in your family?
Let me not say dislike, but I wasn't the favorite child at home.
Okay.
So for me, there was no way. I don't think I would have been here if I carried that around with me, I wouldn't have been able to still speak to my family today because I would have had that grudge to say, oh my gosh, you guys treated me like this when I was growing up, and I didn't want that.
Yeah.
Even kids that, bullied me at school, I speak to them and I'm okay, People that have lost work in the industry because of them, I speak to them and I'm okay. I'm just like...
People that sabotage you in the industry.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? It's not for me to head them back. What I know is that what's meant for me will never miss me. It means that was never even, meant for me.
Okay.
It's that person that was sent to exclude me from that space. And I know that I'm a firm believer of the universe.
Okay.
And I know that if that person was just being malicious because of being malicious, God will punish them when the time for punishment happens.
Are you Christian?
Yes.
It feels like you're more Christian than most Christians in the sense that, the core of Christianity is believing in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. And Jesus is known for forgiveness. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And you seem to embody and live that. Whereas most other Christians who will come and judge even people like yourself, they don't do that.
Of course. It's so funny. I'm a Christian, but I wouldn't know the Bible even halfway through it. I think I just believe that, God protects me every day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God because, I come from really difficult moments. I've had really, really difficult times in my life where I look back now, I'm like, it's so crazy that I'm here. I don't even know how it's happened, how I survived those moments. I remember I was telling a friend of mine also to say, years ago, I think about 6-7 years ago, I happened to be, actually 8 years ago, I happened to be stranded. I didn't have a place to stay. And one of the people that I thought was, well, who is my friend, and knew that I didn't have a place to stay, and only told me like recently to say they knew. And I'm thinking to myself, they didn't do anything to help, but they had the means of assisting.
That stuff doesn't make you hold a grudge.
No.
You at some point were living on the streets.
I lived in the streets twice. Like in Durban, when I first left home, I lived in the street because I left home because of many reasons. I think one was when I realized that, okay, this is not the space for me because I'm not the favorite child. I'm not going to get anywhere. The second one, my father had told me he had a girlfriend at the time, to say him and the stepmother told me that I have to take care of myself when I get to grade 11. So how was I going to do that when I lived at home? You know, because it's not like anyone at home would have given me money for uniform, for anything that I needed. And I just like, anyway, I walk an hour to get to school, or sometimes even more than an hour to get to school, and coming back also is another hour. And I'm not happy here. So is it really worth it?
And you left?
So I left.
What does it mean to not be a favorite child? I'm asking this because it's about 3 ekaya. It's myself as the eldest, my brother, and then my younger sister. And I'd like to think, even though I know it upsets her when I say it, that my brother is my mother's favorite. And I've told my sister as well, and she agrees. Now, if I'm going to say I was not my mother's favorite, my mom was amazing in my life. She's done everything. So what does it mean to you to say I was not the favorite? Are you just putting it politely?
I think I am putting it politely. I think, even abazali, they know. Ukuthi uthanda bani.
Yeah.
Kakhulu.
Yeah.
I would say akakuthandi at all, but there is that child that I thanda more than everyone else. So I was the least, actually, let me say I was the least favorite.
Did they treat you?
Because I was treated like the least favorite. I had to do everything else at home while the other kids didn't do anything. I had to get back from school, make sure that singenza iwashing, and make sure that I clean the house, make sure that ngikamanzi, I cook, and I had to do this every day. And I had to iron for myself and my younger brother
well, it's your cousin, your uncle's
son. So my uncle's son. So I had to do things for him also, and it's not like he was young. No, he was just like 2 years younger than me. And it was visible. I mean, I have a scar here at the back, where my grandmother hit me with her shoe because my uncle's son stole money.
Okay.
But it was myself and my grandmother that knew where the money is. So he, in a way, found the money and stole it, and I was in trouble. And when I just feel like you can tell when a child is telling the truth to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was such an honest child, growing up, Shaya, Kalimala, so I had to be hospitalized. And later on, it came out that it was actually him who stole money because and he splashed money and buying things for people. And I didn't even get an apology, from anyone at home to say, we are sorry. And many other things, that's happened. But I've always told them that, what, I've let it go. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I just feel bad that the kids that you treated well didn't come out as you wish they would have.
As you're speaking, you're reminding me of the story of Cinderella, and I don't know if you identify with that story.
I don't know the story of Cinderella.
You don't know Cinderella?
I know Cinderella, but I don't know that.
It's Cinderella, yeah, the one who was raised by a stepmother. with stepsisters, and she was abused, and she had to do all the cleaning. And then one day she gets an opportunity, of course, to go to a ball. Some magical fairy comes and dresses her up, and eventually she marries a prince. But that story of being ill-treated and you know, we don't speak much about mommy issues. We speak mostly about daddy issues, and there are a lot of mothers who actually hurt children and scar them. And there are a lot of grandparents and aunts and uncles, auntie, or your gran who would abuse you. We don't speak about those stories because we paint women and mothers and grandmothers as these holy people, and it's only men that are bad.
I think it's how really we grew up, everybody being painted. We already have that idea. I think it's what I told you that day when we met, to say sometimes it's good not to have an opinion of something that you've already seen 1,000 people having an opinion on, because you're already influenced of how the person is. And I think most of the time we tend to erase that as young people because already you know, you have to put you see your father differently than your mother. There are things that you would say to your father, there are things that you wouldn't say to your mother. And I think that plays a huge role on how we really see people generally, because already by the time we grow up, it's okay, this is how you see a woman, this is how you see a man.
Do you have mommy issues, daddy issues?
I don't. It's so funny. So I recently lost my grandmother, so we're home. And I love her. I love my grandmother. I think yes, I'll forever love that woman.
Rest in peace, Coco.
Yeah, she will always be my favorite woman. So my father and I really never sat down and had serious conversations about my gender identity. You know, she knows about everything. She reads the press. She watches on TV. She listens to me on radio when I'm on radio.
You talk about your father?
Yes.
I think it's interesting that you use she. I'll speak about it later.
I said she.
Please carry on.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's fine.
No, please carry on.
Doesn't matter.
Please carry on.
So he knows everything. And so a lot of things happened during post the funeral. And he expected me to be on his side, basically. And I told him, I said, can I tell you something? One thing that I won't do is buy, take sides. I won't take sides. Even if you are right or wrong, first of all, I think I need you guys to both know that I don't want to be part of this conversation. I'm excluding myself. But I just want you both to think as adults. And you know, winganyami and at that time, if I was another child, I would have went back and reminded him of his absence in my life, you know, because there was then, and perhaps for other people, a need for me to raise that. But I didn't find it important that I do that. So I've never really had those issues. We cool, I think.
And with your mom?
I prefer not to talk about her. I love her though. Wherever she is, I love her so much. And I think she knows. So
English is not our mother tongue. It was brought on here by a ship.
Of course.
And one of the things black people, well, I come from KwaZulu. Zulu people, one of the things we struggle with is pronouns. So we'll do this thing of he, she. It's a very common thing.
Of course, but I'll tell you this. Most of the time, Zulu men are very disrespectful and they do it on purpose.
You believe so?
Yes. Most of the time.
You speak about yourself?
Sorry?
Are you speaking about yourself or other situations?
I'm speaking about myself and other situations that I've seen around.
Okay.
And I would say most Zulu because this happens, it's either if I'm in KZN or I am meeting a Zulu person in Johannesburg. Like recently, at Mall of Africa, somebody, wanted to, like, angitshengisa ukuthi, he knows that I'm trans.
Yeah.
And because I'm trans, to him, I'm not a she.
Yeah.
And, I told him, I said, it's so unfortunate that you know of me and I don't know of you, first of all. And you are so privileged that you're even getting a response from me. I'm just doing this so that at least you remember that we are khulume nawe. But what you are doing right now is so unnecessary. I know myself. I know who am I. You don't have to try and hurt me, because I'm not going to be hurt by what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
By the time I leave, I'm going to go back and sleep at my place comfortably, and I don't know about you.
Yeah.
And I'll leave you at that. The girl that we was with came and to try and like apologize and say, no. I said, babes, can I tell you something? I think I've said what I said and my word is final and I don't want to be part of this conversation again. You guys can carry on. If Kogutu tell him that I said, it's okay, I forgive him. I've said what I said.
We struggle with pronouns outside of people that are malicious.
Of course.
So I thought it would be nice, considering that it's such a big thing for your identity, where kids will mess it up and be like, she kicked me. And you're like, oh, that boy there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we grow old and it becomes such a big thing for us. At which point do you realize that I'm different from other people in your family, in your community? Do you think it's part of the reason you were treated the way you were treated?
I don't know, because at home they've never brought it's either sexuality when I was younger or gender identity. They've never, at home. And at first I used to think they treated me the way they treat me now because I'm independent. I don't need anything from them.
Yeah.
And they know that, I can live without. But also then I remember when I was younger, I was very feminine, like very feminine. It's crazy.
From as early as you can remember?
As early as I can remember.
It didn't start when you're 16?
I don't remember myself like butch and
Doli and
yes,
those things.
And I used to plait my grandmother's hair.
Yeah.
I used to do everything that, ladies do. And they've never had a problem with me doing it. Actually, they would... bashintshana ukuthi usoluka mina namhlanje nozoluka mina namhlanje. And for me, when I look back at that, I'm just like, actually I'm so blessed that I come from a family that, yes, they might have maybe had reservations, and chances are they wish at some point they had that conversation with me, but they
never showed it. And they never discriminated.
They've never discriminated against me. They've never even discriminated against anyone.
Yeah.
It's home. I've went home with gay people, very flamboyant gay people. Actually, this one time I surprised my grandmother. I got there at 4 a.m. with a lot of gay people. And my uncle, he was also at home. And they didn't, they were not bothered. My grandmother actually, was okay. There's a friend of mine who's a chef, Sia Chanel, likes, he gets really, really busy. And they were cool. It's kind of, you'd never see me, doing things that need hard labor. They also protect me in that sense to say, it's okay, we get you.
Yeah. We didn't go deeper. I'd like you to go deeper on living on the streets. So you left home because of your dad and your stepmom.
Okay, yes, of course, that was also part of the reason.
And you said Durban, you didn't mention the second place you were living
on
the
Durban,
streets.
Yes.
And what does that mean?
So Durban, you've been to Durban. Uyabona Priya?
Yes.
So like what's this? By the bridge, man. Yes, next to the station.
You're talking the market?
Yes.
They would like Daisa Konimiti and all those things. Yeah.
So
close to Durban Station.
Yes, close to Durban Station. No, before Durban Station, next to the market.
Sure, okay.
The market in...
No, I'm trying to create a visual picture for anyone who's going to be thinking of Durban in the CBD.
So let's say Chesterville Rank.
Sure.
Yes, the market's there.
Thank you.
Yes. So there is a train station Elapo. So I'd hang around until very late, first days. And I'd lie every day to different women that sell easy dollar to say, I missed my train.
Yeah.
So can I please have a place to sleep for like probably 2 weeks until you run out of,
excuses and stories
and places. Because I guess I changed different people to sleep here, to sleep here, to sleep here. And it was such a really difficult moment for me, but I knew that it's not the place that I wanted to be at.
You were never scared at that time?
When you're desperate, I don't think that even crosses your mind. I think the only time I got scared was when I was in Johannesburg.
Okay.
But in Durban, I wasn't. So, and then I had 60 rand with me. So I bought, stationery. So I'll get into the train in the morning and go sell it outside for kids.
Indian and white schools.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then I made money. So this just one time, and I was almost close to making enough money so that I can then get to pay rent and get my own place.
Yeah.
So the train stops. It's now during the day. I am taking a train here, Estenga, and coming back to Durban like during the day.
Yeah.
So I'd sell in the train inside after I've sold Escolin. So the train stops. I thought it stopped. Then I step out with 1 foot. I'm carrying my stock.
Yeah.
And then it moves again. I fell. All my stock like flew into the other side. And then I lost the stock.
And you lost it?
Yes.
That was your money that?
So now it means that now I must take the profit that I'd made and go restock. And then back to square one.
Do you think those type of experiences build the type of character and strength that you seem to have, where you're like, guys, so there's nothing you can say that can hurt me?
So I'm not faced, really most of the time, I'm not faced by anything. When I lose work, I'm like, okay, what worse can you do to me?
Yeah.
There's a lady who maliciously, and I was supposed to do a show with another channel, and they let me go day before.
You were meant to start?
Yes, to start shoot. They let me go, and so I get an email. Actually, no, I don't get an email. They don't say anything. I'm in Cape Town. So my plan was I'm going to then come to... No, I'm in Joburg. Then I was supposed to go to Cape Town. Then I canceled my plans to go to Cape Town. I was staying in Cape Town at the time. Cape Town and here. So I asked, okay, what's happening, guys? We're supposed to shoot tomorrow. Nobody is sending anything. And they say, no, the shoot has been postponed. Okay.
Which is like, okay, postponed.
I'm like, but okay, why are you guys not saying anything? Because I came to Joburg specifically for this, And then somebody who's kind enough says, Yaya, you are about to lose this show. So whatever that you do, redeem yourself. I said, what do you mean redeem myself? Because the only thing that I did really was to ask, how am I traveling to Durban?
Yeah.
And they could have said, I would have booked my own flight to Durban. The only thing I just didn't want to drive for 6 hours to Durban and then still get there and then work.
Yeah.
Because then I would have not performed at my best.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So next thing I get a call from a journalist. I'm like, what is this? So I think this lady really had her own agenda, or she just didn't like me.
Yeah.
But she puts on, a face to say, I'm okay. Because most ladies don't like trans people, don't like gay men.
You believe that?
Oh, please.
You believe that? Most
women, I'm telling you.
Homophobic and transphobic.
Are homophobic, but they discuss to say, oh, chomi, and this is why I really have less friends that are women, because I know.
So women are condescending. They come to you and they go, hey, girl.
I've seen it, And for me, for them to even take me to the press, that's wanting to ruin my name and saying I'm a diva. I wanted to get my own makeup artist to work with me. And I'm thinking to myself, no, as much as I didn't like the guy that did my makeup, I was, yes, I didn't though. And I did say that, you guys have another makeup artist that I'm happy to work with, who works for the channel, but for them to like make up all those things and paint me as that person, I was just like, oh my gosh. And thanks God, it's all found me in really at a great space. So I booked my flights. I went back to Cape Town. I was just like, I'm not going to be, frustrated by this. Yeah. And so it's one of those things that's, making references to say, it doesn't really, for me, frustrate me that much that I've lost work. Gig, or if someone says something. I was in Rome this one time. I lost my bag.
You were in where?
In Rome.
Are you flexing?
No.
Rome, Italy or Rome la ngase.
Oh no.
Ngase Alex, mhlambe khona squad camp esibizwa ngeRome.
Oh my gosh, no, abroad. So
let them know, Rome, Italy.
So I had my bag. I was coming from Oslo. So I go to
Norway.
Yes. So I go to Rome because I couldn't make it to where I was supposed to go. And then I get into a restaurant wanting to get food. I put my bag next to me. It has my passport, my other phone, and many other things that I needed. And then the bag gets stolen.
In Rome?
Now...
Sorry, please continue.
No,
really?
And then, no, it wasn't.
That's a side conversation, sorry.
Now I'm like, okay, what do I do? First thing that I think of, how do I go back home? Yeah. I say, okay, fine, I still have to get to other places where I'm going, but how do I go back home?
Losing your passport is like losing your license to exist in another country.
And then now I'm thinking to myself, okay, fine, I have not paid at the hotel where I'm supposed to be staying. I just made a reservation. Yeah. How... Like a lot of things now are coming into my mind. I remember I cried. So luckily I had my other phone. I called my grandmother. She was the first person that I called. I don't know why. I'm crying now. I'm telling you of what's happened. After that, luckily, the person that I was supposed to have met, Zanele Mholi, then sent me money to be able to pay. Because now I don't have a card. I don't have anything else. Trust me, by the end of the day, I was fine. I'd let it go. Because I knew that, there is actually nothing that I'm going to do. I'm not going to find my passport now, am I? I'm not going to do anything that is going to bring whatever things that I'd lost in that bag, And it's those things for me that really makes me very, very strong to say, I don't think minor things like somebody sabotaging me to get a gig that was probably going to benefit them more than myself, You
realize that makes you not normal. Your ability to let go of
really
certain... Do you not know? Do you think people are like that?
I know a lot of people are not like that. People are vicious. People hold grudges.
They hold grudges forever.
I was hearing always saying, "Agakhohlwa." For me, that's not normal. You cannot yes. You cannot not let go.
He always says he doesn't let go.
You can't do
that.
He
doesn't play games.
You cannot do that to yourself, because I really think for me to be where I am, it because really of my mindset, of how I take things, of how I receive people. There was a time like mid-year, I was supposed to launch something really, really, really major. And I had like really big brands that were, backing me. Yeah. And then this lady came through and accused me of something and she knows I didn't do it. She knows I did not do it, And by the end of the day,
you were fine.
All that was gone because, then sponsors pulled out to say we can't. And I was telling my friend to say, for me, this is not a setback. Yeah, it's actually a motivation to work harder, Do
you like women?
Like how?
Do you like women?
Generally? Yeah, no, sure. I mean, one of my besties, Zintle, is female.
But you realize that there's a lot of women that have evil intentions.
Of course,
and
absolutely.
That are destructive.
Absolutely, that I know for a fact. But it can't be then me who then says, women should be cancelled for lying because it's not all women that are like that.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm saying to you, Mina, I know for a fact when they say each dog has its own day, it really does. And I know that because I always say we might not see it, Tina. You know, there's something about karma. What karma does, we won't see you suffer.
Yeah.
But what you want the most, you know what's this thing that you want the most? You could have all the money that you want in the world, beautiful wife, everything.
Yeah.
But there's something that you want the most that the world doesn't know that you want. You won't get it. And that is karma. And I know all those people that do us dirty, that's what will happen to them.
So you release it from yourself, and you said you believe in the universe, and you're like, it's not for me.
It's not for me.
The universe will do whatever.
Because imagine now I'm on the press to be on a fight with somebody. I cannot do that to myself. I can't give people mileage that I don't know.
Yeah.
I really would never do that.
Living on the streets in Johannesburg.
That was
scary.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Please have a sip of what you're drinking and then you can carry on.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? Do you know the building Enot?
No.
So there's a building right next to Nord.
So I know MTN meets Too Nice in the corner. That's the building.
So there's a building when you just like turn like this.
Okay. Coming up Plain. Going towards Nord.
Coming up Bree.
Okay, coming up Bree, then show left.
No, chicken down, just before KFC, if I'm not mistaken, or after KFC. It's before KFC.
Sure.
That building is dark. There is like...
By dark, you don't just mean that it's dark. You mean it's dark even
It's dark with
evil.
Everything, yes. And I was desperate, really desperate. And you know when you know you can't just sleep anyway because you're going to get hurt. What led to that point? I don't think I'm ready to speak on that because it's people that I really, really love that led me to that. And I still love them. They're still in my life. I was let down by people that I really love.
Yeah.
You know, to...
Okay, let's talk about the building.
You know when somebody knows that you don't have another option.
Yeah.
But they let you down still.
Yeah.
You know, they promise you the world and they don't give you that.
Yeah.
And I was in that situation where I'd left everything for them.
Yeah.
And then when I was there to be with them, and then they dropped me. And then I'm desperate. And I found myself, there would be a time where I would go and chill in a club. No, I don't even have money to buy anything. I went through it all during that time. When I say through it all, through it all. And I always say, I thank God that I didn't contract HIV because I could have. So I found myself having to sometimes sleep in that, you know, in that building. And for me, it was one of the most difficult times of my life. Really, really difficult. And because also I escaped sex work during that time, I'll forever be proud of myself because it literally was almost my only option. But I knew that, I'm not saying people that, you know, sex workers are less off, but that's not what I want. For Yaya, I don't want to be a sex worker. I have other dreams. It doesn't matter how desperate I am. There are things that I don't want to do. I don't want to go back and sell in the street, you know. There are a lot of things that I don't want to go back and do. So I knew also that if I can't go back and sell fruits in the streets and sell stationery, I also don't want to be a sex worker. And life was so difficult. It was so difficult. It was so difficult. But also I knew that, I won't go back home. Because I didn't know how was I going to be treated at home after having left and come back as a person who's doing great. And then all of a sudden I'm not doing great.
You were worried about abantu bazothini?
No, not abantu bazothini. It wasn't that. How was I going to be treated? Do you remember, I think what we need to be honest as Black people is that people love you when you have something to offer.
Correct.
And when you don't have, even families, you are treated differently when you don't work at home. We've seen it with many families. The moment you don't work, you are treated different. And I didn't want that for myself, But I'm glad that, I escaped those things. And I'm fine today, So this is why, anything that really happens to me, I really see it as a minor thing to say, I've seen worse.
In the space you were in, I can imagine you met a lot of people. And my question is going to be, do you think we should be doing more to rescue people in those spaces?
Absolutely.
And what do you think the problem is? Do you think it's just poverty and desperation, or is there something else? Are there people there that are actually intentionally trying to get people into that space?
So, I always calculate this and make myself a reference because I know I didn't just want to be in the streets because I wanted to take drugs or whatever. No.
Nugget Street and End.
Yeah.
There as well.
There are a lot of people who are in those situations not because they want to.
Yeah.
It's life that's threw them in those spaces. A lot of them.
Yeah.
I would never judge a person that I see in the streets because I don't know.
You don't know their story.
Yeah. And some are even there because of witchcraft. Do you understand?
You believe in witchcraft?
Dude, I survived that shit when I was young.
Okay. So by witchcraft, you mean they're not even in control of their mental state be there?
They're not, And I would never speak out of privilege to say, why are you doing this?
And I got out. Why don't you get out?
Do you understand? I can't because it's also, it took a lot of courage for me to get out, but also because I really, really, really didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And I knew if I was there longer, there was going to be more damage.
And you might never have been able to get out psychologically.
Absolutely. Do you understand? And there are people who adjust to situations so easily, even like bad situations. And some of them, maybe they just adjusted and said, you know what, there is nothing for me.
Might as well.
I might as well.
Thank you for sharing. This is an unfair question.
Okay.
This is an unfair question.
Why are you asking it if you know it's unfair?
I'm asking it so that it's,
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Have you ever been abused? You do not have to answer.
I have, sexually and physically. And the physical one, I think it's something that I still need to deal with because it didn't happen once, twice, but it's happened 3 times.
Has this been strangers, people you know?
People I know, people I loved, people I shared a bed with, people I, believed that they loved me. And, the last one, he used to tell me that even if I speak, no one will believe me. Because he knew the power that he had, And it goes back to how society will always use our pain to be even more unfair towards us. So he knew, okay, we are in a relationship. Nobody knows about our relationship. He is famous. I'm not famous. So, of course, if I speak out, people are going to think I'm seeking attention.
Sure.
And, because also mostly people generally think if a man is dating a trans person, then he's gay.
Yeah.
People would have said, no, but he's not gay. Do you understand? So I would have been the one who's stupid. Even now, I would never mention his name.
This person identifies as hetero.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would never mention his name. Even if I don't know what's happened, I will never mention his name because I know what will do to me.
Yeah.
You know? And people always say...
What he'll do to you.
What it will do to you. It will do to me, you know. People will say, but you say you're an activist, but you're protecting someone else. Like, I'm not protecting him, I'm protecting myself. Because I know what you as society would do to me. Because you are so unfair towards us.
Yes.
Do you understand? People, like the lady that lied about me, knew very well to say, I'm going to get backlash. Because people are going to say, Vele banjalo, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just so unfortunate because I'm not that person. People that know me knows that I'm not that person. So all my abusive relationships were very difficult for me to get out. But I'm glad that I got out because I think 2 of them I could have died. I think one was public that I was abused. It was like everybody knew that Yaya is in a very toxic relationship and it's such a horrible space to be in. And my friend recently was telling me that yes, Yaya, every time I read horrible stories about women being abused and I think of you and this person of what he used to put you through. And I always say, I'm so glad that I got out.
There are many women who have been violated in different ways. And we always say women should speak out. And we've got a legal system that does not have a high conviction rate. I think it's a 2% or something silly. And there's secondary and tertiary abuse in the form that you have to constantly see this person through court and relive the experience. I want to ask you, because a lot of women that I've spoken to personally will tell me, Penuel, I've been raped, but I'll never speak about it. And I'm like, but you need to get your power back. And she's like, what happens with some people is once you go out there, you become a rape victim. They start treating you a certain way.
You see, or they
even abuse you and they say you're a liar. It's women like you who try to destroy good men.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you, what do you think is the solution for people in that situation?
It's for men to do better. It's for men to change their behavior.
So men is the one part which we can maybe affect or not. I'm asking for the victim.
The victim,
what can we do for you who won't speak out because you're like, I don't know what it'll do to me. But you've been violated and this person who violated you is still out there. But
you see now, the victim doesn't have power, unfortunately. Because even if the victim opens a case and the person is sentenced or found guilty, I swear to God, do you understand now that we live in this era of social media?
Yes.
You are constantly attacked to say you are lying. How dare you? You need to prove your innocence. You need to prove, do you understand? You are a victim, but you have to prove your innocence to people to say, no, guys, really, really here, this really, really did happen. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Whereas if the person does not get found to be guilty, it's even worse for you because then the court said the person is what's this?
Not even innocent. They'll say something like there isn't enough evidence.
Do you understand? But even if
we
they
can't go through the trial, we
do you understand?
We find them not guilty, not innocent, but just not guilty.
But even if they are found innocent, we know in South Africa you can buy your innocence.
Yeah.
You can buy your innocence. We've seen it. So I don't blame women that don't speak out because I know the victimization that they get with society.
But are you saying there's no solution?
Solution is men changing their behavior.
But if they don't change, because when I think of men who violate, when I think of human beings who violate others, there are some who it might be an isolated incident. The person was angry, they were drunk, whatever the case. We're not saying it's fine. We're saying it's isolated. Then there are people who perpetually hurt others, and
of course,
some of those people I don't know if they are beyond repair. Some of them you wish they could just be deleted from the world. So in a situation where someone is just a monster, it's just who they are, they're a monster, I almost want to caution the potential victims. Don't visit Luababa. People have said Luababa does funny. Don't play around that area. This is me trying to warn you. If something happens to you, this is the solution, of which one of them, is violence. which we're not supposed to condone. But if someone's violated you and the courts and the legal system has let you down and people don't believe you, it's like, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. But in terms of...
It's a tricky one because, you know what, I just wish we didn't live in an era of social media where everybody believes that their opinion is gospel truth on social media, because that really ruins everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that I think it's but I've seen it, especially with public figures, where you can tell because this person actually was violated.
Yeah.
And chances are also the person that violated them did not know that this is violation, because those things happen. Do you understand? It does happen. I've seen it when a person does something to you. In their mind, really, they're not being aggressive.
Yeah.
That's just, who they are.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because now we live in an era where everything is calculated, everything is up to, how do I even put it? Everything that you do, you need to be like really, really, really careful, because you never know how the other person is going to take it.
We've become hypersensitive, some of us, at least, that understand that I may not know that I'm violating you, so I constantly need to ask if you're okay.
Sometimes I could be sexually abused by my partner and I don't know that he sexually abused me.
Correct.
But when I speak to my friends tell me that no, this person was sexually violating you. Do you understand?
I don't want to speak about it because I have spoken to the lady, but I remember on an episode of Unfollowed on Showmax, Lady Zamar said something like that about Usjava, where she said, I wasn't aware of this. I spoke to a friend and the friend said, this person has violated you. Yeah.
But you understand? So had she not had a secondary voice, she wouldn't have seen it as violence.
Sure.
So what do we say in that case?
What do we say in that case?
And also, the person probably who violated her
was also like, how?
Do you understand? It's like, but I thought. Do you understand?
That when both you and I thought this was okay.
You see? So it's such a tricky one, and that's why I try and not get involved. And I always say I'll always speak about my own experience, but also even with my own experience, I need to be very careful of how I deal with it, because now I'm not just the Yaya that I was.
Sure.
How many years ago? Now whatever that I say, people they dig into it. They question it.
Yeah.
They question my understanding around things, and I would get into trouble. And I don't want to get into trouble for things that I'm genuinely not being bad about.
Do you feel like you're part of the LGBTQI plus community? Do you feel like that's your community?
It's very much my community. And I was saying, so I have a friend who constantly feel like other queer people or gay people specifically don't like him and I used to, I always say, there is no way just because I have 5 or 10 people that don't like me, then I say the whole community doesn't like me. I would never do that to myself.
Yeah.
Because there are many other ones. It's so unfortunate that support you. It's so unfortunate that as Black people, unfortunately, we focus more on the negative than the positive.
Correct.
Yeah, but there are so many people that love me. There are so many people that support me, that want me to win. I would never in my life allow people that I don't know that just saw me on social media to tell me about my life, to tell me that I don't look great, that I'm not smart, that I won't. That's why I don't even, respond to those things, because I'm not bothered by it. I've told myself that, I don't know these people. Chances are they just want a reaction from Yaya.
Sure.
They want attention from Yaya. To them, it's like a dream. It's like it's like having gold. That they got a response from me, that they hate me. So I'm not going to allow people that don't know me to hate me.
What do you identify as?
I identify as trans.
As trans?
Yes, transgender woman.
A trans woman?
Yes. And I think I'm glad that whatever is happening to my life, it's happening when I'm like in a public domain like that, So a man that comes to me comes knowing what, he's coming for.
Do you prefer that?
Absolutely. I don't want... every time I meet... I think that last guy that I met who really was not bothered, he didn't even know who I was. And I liked that at the time, to say, oh my gosh, this is so refreshing that, I'm meeting a guy who just likes me for me. And he probably learned later on to say, because when he'd come to my place, he'd ask himself, what's happening? What are these? Why did you get this award for? What, And I'd always make up like stupid stories, because I was hoping that, would prolong the process of him even knowing, what I do. But I think eventually when, my makeup artist would come to my place, do my makeup, and she would speak about work in his presence. And then it's like, oh, okay. Oh, and then, when he started speaking to his friends to say he was having a conversation with me. Yeah. They're like, but she's trans, and it never really bothered him. Yeah. But sometimes a man that you meet in the street that doesn't know is going to become aggressive. Is going to be unsure. Yes, he wants you, but also at the same time, he wants validation from other people. Yes. To say, yes, you can, or yes, you can't. And I don't want those problems.
Oh, I think Siv Ngesi dressed up. I would call it drag, I think.
Yeah, that's drag.
Dressed up in drag, and he posted on Twitter. And I made a comment about it. And I remember going viral and being accused of transphobia. And I was attacked by the community.
But that's not transphobia because it's not trans, but anyway.
So I don't know, but that's what I was accused of course. One of the things I've come to realize is, and it's a learning for all of us, that one person in the LGBTQI plus community is one person. Yes, they can speak for the community, but people's experiences are different.
Totally.
So if I meet a gay person and they say something to me, that's their opinion. It's not the gay opinion.
Of course.
So I've had to learn that. So for example, if someone said I'm transphobic and you're saying, well, I don't think that's transphobia, that's your opinion, that's their opinion.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying that's my
I understand.
My opinion is gospel truth,
yes.
Of course, yeah.
So in that time, it led me to introspect. And for a long time, I've been going around telling people, I think I'm mildly transphobic. And they were like, oh, so you're also one of those? I'm like,
are you transphobic?
There are definitions out there.
Are you transphobic?
So this is what you must answer in my story.
Okay.
So we go out there and we say these things, and because I meet people and they're like, oh, I love the community. And I'm like, so if your son, and they're like, no. And I'm like, I think you're mildly homophobic because you have a preference for your child. And they're like, no, I'm not. They must just do their thing. And I'm like, I don't know. I think that's phobic.
They are sick.
So what I've said to people is my preference. This is why I asked you the question I asked. I would prefer for a trans woman to tell me they're a trans woman, and to not just tell me I'm a woman. I would like to know, so I'm aware and I can make an informed decision.
I like that, but when do we have that conversation?
You see, you can help us with that. But so when I'd say that, then some people say, no, you're transphobic. So I eventually was like, okay,
when you say a person must disclose,
maybe I'm transphobic, because I would prefer to know.
So I think for me, and I always say this, even to guys, to say, what conversation that are we having that is leading to me disclosing? Because I can't just come to you and say, hey, by the way, I'm trans. So there's no way.
Can I tell you my story? So yeah, I've got 6 children from 4 mothers.
Oh my gosh.
Young Jaja.
Okay. I'm not judging you. I'm just you're reminding me of my father. Not my father. You're reminding me of my brother who's younger than me. He has 6 kids. But anyway. No.
Boza. What are you saying no to? You can't be phobic to us with kids.
No, I'm not phobic. I'm just like, that's a lot of kids.
Yeah, we're blessed.
Okay.
So I have 6 children from 4 mothers. And if I'm going to meet a woman, it becomes this thing of, I'd like you to get to know me without anything else. And then decide, I like you. And then I explain, look, I hear that you like me and I'm glad, but I need to explain my life. I have children, different mothers, I have responsibilities. Then she's like, why didn't you tell me this up front? I would have said no.
I think what would save that, this is why it's important to have talking stages with anyone. Anyone that you meet. I do that now. You know, I would never just be comfortable with you without having had a conversation with you, like timeless conversations, because I need to see how also you treat people. I need to, because right now I'm not in a space where I'm going to get into another abuse.
Yeah.
Because if I do that, then fundly lawyer manje IHL, and I don't want to be in the press for having been in an abusive relationship. That's one of the things that I don't want. You know, I would never want to wake up on a Sunday world where Yushayiwe, she's attending Randburg Court.
And by attending Randburg Court, geez, that magistrate court there up the road, Fentale.
I don't want that, and that's why a man that will be with me and will really have to have proven himself. You know, there's a guy actually, out of all those guys that try and speak to me, there's this one that I thought, okay, let me try and listen to what he has to say. And he would call me like midnight. And I'm thinking to myself, but this guy and I are not dating. We are like speaking. And yesterday I said, I have a headache. He just carried on and spoke to me and said what he needed to say. You know, those things that I'm just learning, I'm like, I would never date that guy because it means
he's not
that,
considerate.
Do you understand? He's not. The other time I said I'm sleeping, he still asked me like questions. And for me, that will lead to violence. The day I don't want to do what he wants. So I try and learn people now to see, you know, their sense of reasoning. How do they reason? How do they treat other people? What's happened to their previous relationships? Do you understand? How do they see life generally? How do they judge other relationships? For me, that helps me.
This comes from trauma, previous trauma.
I think so, because like I say, I don't want to be. I mean, even if we because because Nama won't shout at you, you know. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, I am very forgiving. So I'm very understanding. It's okay when you say something happened, you apologize. I'm like, okay, you know. I try calling you, you don't answer, you don't get back to me. I let it go because you chose not to get back. I'm not going to fight with you now to say, why didn't you? I'm not going to cause a sin. And some people want you to do that.
Sure.
So a person that wants me to do that, I'm not going to then be in a relationship with that person because clearly likes violence and I don't want that. And maybe that's why I should date white.
Date what?
White.
White what?
White men.
I saw a woman. So I've met, I've dated, I've been in relationships with two ladies and both of them were very insistent up front that we go for therapy. And it almost becomes an immediate red flag. I think this lady's experienced something because she's now saying, let's please unpack our demons and baggage to decide if we can actually move forward. I'm listening to what you're saying about the talking stages, and you almost want to hear the dirtiest stuff up front.
Be honest with me.
But you can't up front because it's like, I want you to get to know me first. Because if I tell you, let's say I say something like, 5 years ago, I actually beat up a woman. If I tell you that up front, you disengage versus
no.
If you get to know me for a while and I tell you the story, you might be willing to listen to what happened and what led to that.
But remember, I'm not going to judge you based on your past experience. I'm judging you based on you now.
But most people judge on past.
Yeah, most, of course. It's like, so there was this guy that I really, really, really liked. I asked him, what does he do for a living?
Yeah.
He wouldn't tell me like straight, So we go to a restaurant and then his phone rings. He couldn't answer. I said, you can answer. I'm really okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
You can answer. I think you've seen that I'm such an open person. The phone rings again. and then he answers, and then he speaks about cars. So I discovered that, and then this guy is a criminal. So after the phone call, I asked him, what do you do? He lies. I said, what do you do? Are you a criminal?
You asked him, are you a criminal?
I said, are you a criminal?
Not to say, do you deal in stolen cars, or do you ask, are you a criminal?
I said, are you a criminal? He said, yes. No, I said, are you a gangster? Actually, no, I said, are you a gangster?
Yeah.
He said, yes. I know I wouldn't have dated him have I known upfront that he's a criminal. But now what put me off even more is that he lied. He was such a liar, because
that's why you didn't carry on with him.
I was like, there is no way.
If
I can just imagine. Do you understand? Chance I would have kept him in my life and try and reason with him to say, you need to do better.
Sure.
Try find things that you can do and live this life, because it's not good.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's able to lie in my face all the time, there is so much more that he can lie about, And I thought there and there, I'm like, okay, problems here.
So besides white, anyways, white
I think
people.
I should definitely date white, because, there's peace there.
Ooh, there's what?
Peace.
Because they brought peace to South Africa.
No, of course.
Who are you attracted to?
Kind people, kind men.
Kind men. Did you say kind men?
Yes.
You're attracted to men?
Yes, just men who are kind and...
Not women?
No.
Not trans women?
No.
Not trans men?
Trans men, definitely, they are men.
Okay.
I've had a thing with the trans men. And...
So, but it must be men. You're not attracted to women?
No.
Are you attracted to feminine people? So the person also has to be masculine?
I think I'll find it very difficult.
Is it because you're feminine?
Yeah, I'm very feminine. So I don't think I will be able to. I get a lot of especially gay guys who'd hit me up, and they are. And
you're like, oh, shame. Not my type.
Not even not my type. I'll never. And you know what's funny? I think the most horrible thing that I do is entertain people. I think
shame,
that I acknowledge.
Because you understand.
So I just entertain. So I always laugh and say, if there were to be, if there were to be a guy says, no, but I talk to Yaya, like that. Probably many other ones would come out to say, I bonam ya khuluma nam, but I know for a fact that I'm just entertaining you. Nothing is ever going to happen.
But you're not flirting.
Entertaining, like flirting, yes.
Auntie.
So I'd laugh.
That's shady.
I'd laugh.
You mustn't flirt. You're leading people on.
I think
you're leading people on.
I'm just hoping that they're going to see that it's not going to work.
Would you like day one to get married? Have you considered children?
Children, no, definitely.
What is the no, definitely? What's that?
I don't want children.
Why not?
So I'm happy to meet somebody who has children, and because I love kids, but I don't want the process of adopting and all those things, because society is very violent, towards us, trans people mainly.
Would you not like to have your own children?
No.
Why not?
I've never really had an interest.
That's the only reason?
Yeah, I've never really, Okay. But I love kids, my friends who have kids, they know those kids are like my kids,
I wish you would have said yes, because I would have had a follow-up question of, if you have children, would you like to have children and carry, or would you like to have children by giving sperm?
Oh my gosh. If I was heterosexual, I don't think I would have carried.
Okay.
Because I'm just thinking of the delay that women,
delay.
They get delayed.
Delayed from what?
From doing anything that they want to do.
Pregnancy is not a delay. It's a beautiful process.
It's a beautiful process, but I'm telling you, there are many things that you aren't able to do that you want to do. I think for me, because really, I have really bigger dreams, and
it's because you're ambitious. And there are many women
And-
like you who are very ambitious and they end up not having kids or they put it off because they feel like it's a delay.
And I've had access to the world and I know how it feels. And I want to be there.
So pregnancy would
Definitely, I can just imagine I'm 7 months pregnant, I'm on a 14-hour flight. What happens?
Oh, they probably wouldn't let you on that flight. I know
Do you
there's a cutoff
understand?
at
So
some point.
do you understand? So now I can't do things that I want
But you
to
mustn't
do.
use words like delay. Pregnancy is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm sorry, but I just feel it's like, okay, let me not speak about that because, yeah.
Okay.
So,
but you'd be happy to raise children
yeah,
with
absolutely. If I meet a guy who has kids
Yeah.
and kids are respectful,
yeah.
because I think also there's another chat that sometimes you meet kids that will make your life a living hell.
I can imagine. And in your situation, the kids will look at you and be like, Exe, and then,
Do you understand? I don't want that problem.
and our mom doesn't like you either.
Do you understand? And I don't want to meet a man who has baby mama issues.
That's impossible, shame.
Uh,
That's one you must embrace.
It's not impossible.
How?
Because I've met, my ex from Durban. He had a baby mama. We got along so well with the kids.
Yeah.
She never like said anything to me.
Yeah.
Do you understand? She never said anything to me. But I think also what made things really, really great, I made sure that guy supported his kids.
Sure.
And everything was sent on time. There was no need.
That is important for any woman who is in the life of a man with children to be like, I know you love me. I know we want things, but you have responsibilities, bro. It can't be that you're
Absolutely.
taking me out and we're going on flights when I know school fees
Do you
is
understand?
not
It's
paid.
not paid. I remember when he started cheating, it because I gave him too much access to be with the kids. So I said,
Cheating with?
he started cheating with other people.
Oh, not with the baby mama.
No.
Oh.
So, because I used to say, okay, fine. I really think at least 2 weekends, spend time with the kids. And I didn't know that's Mina. The setup didn't allow him to always be in that space every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So he also didn't want to disclose to say, it doesn't
Yeah.
allow him. So then he used that time to go see other people, out of me being
Men are
kind.
trash.
You understand?
Being glad. Oh.
No, they are not. Sorry, no, they are. They are trash.
No, we're happy that they're not.
No, they are.
A big backlash from I call them the phobic community now. And I almost appreciate when people own their phobias because a lot of them come from a place of ignorance. Because if they don't speak, you assume they fine and they understand.
Fine, yes.
Kanti-
And then you get attacked for being around them.
So a lot of them, the backlash now is, yenzani izinto zenu. But why now are you forcing it down our children's throats and what?
There's nothing like that as forcing anything.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on, you're an activist. I'd like to hear your thoughts on educating children on the community and how you feel about that and the way that it's being done now.
The problem is the parents. The problem is the people who are sharing the information. It's not even the information that is a problem.
Have you seen the information that children are being taught?
Not like widely.
Okay.
It's so unfortunate that majority of heterosexual people see us as sex objects.
I understand. It's also because most of it is a sexual identity. You see, when you say gender identity, that's different from sexual, because sexual is like, so you want to sleep with these people and do these things. With gender, it's like, no, I just identify as.
Maybe even not. So most of the men that are really, we think that, well, they are homophobic, that's homophobic,
Yeah.
are mostly some after nines. And they would never be caught dead speaking positive about queer people because they're scared that if you are being positive, they are gay. So because
They have a mental problem, right?
I don't know, I wouldn't say that.
I live this life, but during the day when I act like I hate it so much. Something's not right there.
So because when already you see me as sex, you know what's into engihlanganisa nawe is not love, is just having sex. You are thinking your child is going to be influenced to do the same thing.
Oh, that you're seeing and that you're doing.
Do you understand?
I hear you.
Because I always say, if people are saying kids are going to be influenced to be queer, I would have been straight.
Because you were in a space.
Because I was in a space where there were no queer people. Then I would have been influenced to be straight. Yeah. But I wasn't.
You know, in the example you're using, I'm thinking of what we call slay queens now. These girls that go out, that are pretty, that twerk. Men see them as sex objects, which is why if they saw their daughter doing that, they would lose their minds.
They would lose their minds, because to them, when a woman is twerking already, they are thinking, oh my gosh, I should take her home.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it's so unfortunate that, you know, sometimes just because a woman is twerking at a club doesn't say that she's looking for a man.
Sure.
You know?
She could just be dancing and having a
good time.
Do you
understand? Just because a woman is dressed a certain way doesn't mean that she's looking for a man. Do you understand? So most of the time, the problem here, it's men and how they think and how they see women and how they see other people generally.
Yeah. I know of certain schools in Johannesburg, I think for maybe obvious reasons they don't publicize it, that have got children that have transitioned and even had surgery. I'd like to hear your opinions. I'm talking young children in primary school.
So really, for me, I'm not sure I don't even know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a parent should ever make that decision, a decision like that for a child. So let a child be. I think it goes back to parents wanting kids to live their ideal lives. To say, oh, finally I have a girl. Oh, finally I have a boy. You know, just like how they see when you are born an assigned male or female, to their mind already they have plans for you to say, okay, I'm gonna get silobolo, okay, I'm gonna get a wife.
Yeah.
And when that doesn't happen, then they lose their minds.
Yeah.
So same thing. To them, they fulfilling their dreams, because there is no way, I don't think that a parent...
In your personal opinion.
I don't think, guys, you could be sure what your child wants. Even if your child is older, even if your child was 19, 20, 21, you'd never know what they want. It's them who knows.
Do you think there should be an age cutoff for making a decision as big as surgery for transition?
I think it should be when a person can decide on their own.
21, 18?
When a person is an adult, you know, to say, okay, fine, this person is ready.
Do you feel the same about circumcision? That's another decision that parents make.
I just feel, you know, it's so unfortunate, because really I'm yet to understand what really does circumcision do.
They tell us that it's for health
that changes a person's life.
They say it's for health reasons. That's all the medical side tells us.
Have you seen anyone sick because they didn't undergo a circumcision? I've never seen somebody having bad sex also because they are not circumcised. I've really never. So I think we are so obsessed about what we say culture is, because also we want to be praised by the community to say, you know, yes, you are a man, and yes. And it's just so unfortunate. And I always say, if you don't want to do it, guys, you don't have to please anyone. Because even after you've done it, chances are they're still going to ask you to do more other things that they want for themselves.
I've got 4 sons, and the circumcision conversation at least is one that's actually it's affected me in the sense that I haven't had a child who identifies as something else. I haven't had that exposure.
How old are your kids?
My oldest is 13. My youngest is 2. They're relatively young.
So what are they saying when you have the conversation about circumcision?
No, I've never had the conversation with them. It's a conversation with parents where, in a situation like, let's say I'm a parent of a trans child, whatever that means, whether they've had surgery or not. and someone comes and says, you can't do that. You can't decide for a child that they must. And I say to the other parent, that's rich, because you circumcised your son before he could even think of anything. And you're judging me, which you're allowed to do. But allow me to then judge you, that before you come and tell me about my child who is happy and healthy and whatever, you also went and violated your child.
But maybe also they've come to term to understand shit. I wasn't supposed to, you know, and I wish I didn't. I have a friend who ingane yakubo went for circumcision and he didn't want to go.
Yeah,
he was scared, you know, and he was really, really scared because he didn't know if he was going to even come out there alive.
That's very tragic.
But because the family wanted him to go, he had to go. Now, I mean, this is a person saying, I am scared.
Yeah.
They're not saying, I don't want to go. I am scared because of these are the reasons.
And
these are valid reasons, do you understand?
Boys die.
But still, so it goes to show families are willing to sacrifice with their own kids.
For culture. They chop their pinky off, or whatever it's called. And then the Zumas and the Dumas, they cut their faces in the name of culture.
But I don't even think it still happens a lot like that now. I haven't
we
seen
hope
somebody.
Not. My cousin Waga Ngubane, and I remember her mom saying, "Hey, not my child." So luckily, she still got her pinky.
So her has anything happened to her that is like tragic because that they say they would happen?
Those are the doom and gloom things.
Do you understand? So sometimes it's really also about what we believe in, and if it's in your mind, it's really going to happen. You're going to see it happening. It's not even that it's going to happen. You're going to see it happening. Chances are very you're going to have an accident, even if you know.
Have you seen What is a Woman? It's a documentary by Matt Walsh from Daily Wire. It trended at some point where he was going around asking people from the community, what is a woman? And he was getting different answers. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I haven't. I'll check it out.
Please check it out. I hope everyone checks it out because it's meant to be a conversation because we're living in this now. I was very sad by the conclusion because at the end he became very angry. He's like, these people don't even know what a woman is. They can't answer my question. And one of the people that spoke, they explained it so well. They were separating, how I explain it to people now is separating gender and biology. I think we need to change the words to make life easier.
I always say, I think, guys, truth of the matter is we are here with a lot of confusion and whatever that is happening because there are terms that's really naughty. I don't want to say we don't know of, but we're still learning about a lot. Correct. And, you know, and as a person who grew up not knowing any of those, that's why I understand sometimes when another person doesn't understand.
Know. So you've got gender and biology where the biology is what you're saying. The private parts you had at birth.
Yeah.
You don't choose that. You're albino, you're tall, you're short, you're white, you're black. You don't choose that. And then there's gender, which is human-made. That's now boys wear blue, girls wear pink.
Do you understand?
Girls pierce their ears. I'm like, that is not a natural thing.
Do you understand?
That is one of the things that is being fought here, that the world has moved. There was a time when women didn't wear trousers. It was frowned upon. Of course, yes. There was a time when men wore skirts. Whether you were Scottish and you wore a kilt or you were a gladiator. I mean, Muslim men wear what looks like a tunic. Zulu men would wear peshu, which is a skirt. We've changed, but today we almost act as if these are natural things. That's the one part that people need to understand when we speak about being genderless, that let the child play with the car. Let the boy play with the doll because he might enjoy it. Don't say, no, boys don't play with those things because these are human things. Then the second part becomes, yes, I'm albino. Yes, I'm a
born
dwarf.
With albinism.
I'm born with albinism. Sorry, I apologize.
It's cool.
Yes, I was born with albinism. I don't know if you put it, I'm born with dwarfism, etc. But I don't identify as this thing. Yes, I was born in South Africa where it has a history of apartheid. But why must I slaughter and say Umzulu? I don't. I enjoy the French culture. I enjoy the Japanese culture, which are all human created, and you won't allow me to live this, which I identify with and enjoy. And we can't have these conversations because people are like, when you're supporting Umpedo and what, you're like, guys, there's a conversation being raised here. And in that documentary, the conversation was raised, but I was just sad that the conclusion was so bland because people are meant to understand that you have a child, your child is feminine. You can throw the child against a rock. You can make the child do push-ups. The child is feminine. It's a hormone. The doctors can pick it up. Or the child loves pink. Your daughter loves green. But you're saying no because culture and society, and instead of listening to the child and being like, oh, okay, oh, my child likes this thing. I maybe won't do this because I think they're too young. Maybe when they turn 16, they won't like green. Now they like red. Now, my daughter used to love white boys. Now she hates white people. They're racist. I'm like, this is so cute. Imagine if at the time I was like, since you like white people, let's undergo surgery. Ubo Michael Jackson, because utanda belung. And you're like, the child is just living their experience. And who knows what happens later on.
Absolutely.
But we can't have that conversation.
You know what you're saying? It's making me think of something which might not be 120% related to what you're saying.
Yeah.
When a man does everything that is expected of society to do, he's going to wear blue, he's going to play soccer, he's going to do everything according to what society takes as a man should do. And then he happens to be feminine and to have a soft voice. I'll tell you that guy, even if he is straight, people are going to say he's gay.
Correct.
It's people now who are now going to say, no, it's tabanelesi.
Yes, because gay has a voice. And
do you understand? And it goes to show, listen, guys, sometimes people would say, we don't understand. They actually do. They're just being nasty.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, if you were to hear from a lot of like queer people, they are stories of discovering themselves came from what society told them.
Yeah.
To say no. When ufana no bani, ufana no somizi, when ufana no bani, ufana no, do you understand? Ufana no yaya. Oh, do you understand? It's just like so bad. I remember this one time, I got into an audition room. I have not introduced myself, and this lady says, hey! I just like, and now I'm labeled.
You don't have a deep voice at all in you.
I probably do.
Oh, but you've never tried. No, because I'm just thinking that would have been the right time to be like, hi, how can I help you?
So now I'm labeled a diva because I refuse to be a mockery.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And it's so unfortunate that most of the time, if you don't do what society expects you to do, you are difficult.
Yeah.
If you are doing it, oh no, but she chose to do this. She chose to be, feminine. She chose to be gay. But I'm like, but it's you who's doing this or who introduced me to this. How did I choose? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So we are always so put in a disadvantage. We are always put in a disadvantaged space as the other.
Yeah.
By heterosexual people, because to them they have got the authority to tell us this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do. If you don't do it, then get out of here. Not on my watch.
I forgot to mention this earlier. On Becoming, there was someone that you guys were shooting with that I think passed away or took their lives.
Gina.
I don't know if you'd like to say something about that.
So I'd never,
because I just wanted to acknowledge that. I'm raising it from a mental strain perspective, that when society forces you to be a certain way and you're trying to openly be like, this is me, that sometimes it can get so aggressive that your own mind caves in.
Absolutely.
If you can maybe just tell the story quickly of Gina.
May her soul rest in peace, and I think she would have been a mega star.
Yeah.
There's a scene where she shoots with her friends, and her friends wanted to dictate what she should wear, because if she's dressed like that, she's going to be seen as a sex worker.
Yeah.
But I kid you not, if she was not trans and heterosexual, those ladies wouldn't have seen a problem with that outfit. Yeah. Because already, Tina, as trans people, there's always need to be a line to say you can't do this much.
It becomes a new box.
Do you understand? It
becomes a new box. You jump from one box, now you must. But all gay guys do this. I mean, don't you guys like this thing? And you're like,
do you understand? When before I discovered that I was trans, I would get a lot of people say, "Oh, fun, namanya gay when I could too much." And it would just put me off to say, but why do you then have an assumption that every gay person needs to be over the top?
Yeah.
There are gay men that
you'd never know that they're gay.
Never know.
They're just living their lives. They just have a male partner.
And now you're going to have a problem with them because they don't
behave a
certain way. It's just so unfortunate that constantly we have to deal with that.
Mm. No, thank you so much for that, man. And yeah, maybe Gina.
Yeah, Gina.
Rest in peace.
Yes.
We're speaking about the LGBTQI plus community, but this thing of feeling out of place applies to so many people. And sometimes you really hope that human beings will look at their own lives and be like, okay, I'm a black man in a white corporate space. I feel like if I don't speak good English, I'm not welcome. I'm a woman in a male-dominated industry. I feel with you guys, people have created these societal spaces where they've created a culture. And sometimes that culture, when you come in and you're different, it becomes oppressive and we hurt people.
Absolutely.
And we're not saying you need to accept anything and everything. I don't even think that's good for human beings. But it's to have a sensitivity. I was speaking to a white man and he was explaining that in his business, there was one of his black workers was saying they're going home because they're going to do a cleanse for witchcraft. And while this black employee was speaking to him, one of the white colleagues laughed. And, he was like, look, you can go to your family. It's fine. He went to go and speak to this white colleague on the side and he was like, please don't ever do that again. And he's like, but that's ridiculous, witchcraft. And it's like, I don't understand it. You don't understand it. Why would you laugh at something you don't understand?
Exactly.
If, for example, as a religious person, your family believes that, there's evil, you need to go pray, you need to go to church, no one will laugh at you.
Of course.
But when other people practice their beliefs, it becomes a joke.
Of course. But can you imagine this is you now as a heterosexual person who doesn't have the challenges that I have as a trans person, facing those challenges. Imagine me now.
You multiply.
Because I'm not even facing the challenges only that are faced by women. Yes, a straight woman. Yes, I would face some of those. And then additionally, I'm still going to be attacked even by women thinking I'm taking their space. Straight women thinking I'm taking their space. So I'm really, really right there at the bottom with how much I still need to fight for, prove myself on. I remember this one time I got at an event. This guy touched my boobs. And so I asked him, I said, but why would you do that? I said, no, I want to feel if they are real. I said, do you do that to your...
to other women in your life?
To other women in your life. He says, no. But because I know that they are straight. I said, but there are women who has like really small breasts who go into surgery. You'd never know.
Yeah.
But also, let's just say now you have discovered that they are real. What's then?
My last question to you, because I know this is a topic my brother and I speak about. Your opinion on trans women getting into traditionally female spaces. So sports being the one that my brother normally speaks about. And then things like employment equity. There's maybe a fund for female businesses. Do you believe that trans women should compete with women in sports? Do you
but
think
they are
should?
women also.
I hear you, so that's what I want to hear.
We are women, but also at the same time, we are being gate-kept, because how many trans people do you see in those spaces? In all honesty, how many trans people can you say you've seen them benefiting from what is traditionally made for heterosexual women?
Do you not think it's unfair?
It's unfair
that's what a lot of women
it's unfair
compare.
for us that we're not being given those platforms on merit. Because I'm not saying give me the opportunity because I'm trans. I'm saying on merit. I am qualified to do that, so let me get it.
But they're saying it's for people that were assigned a female gender at birth. No, it's not me. This is what
I hear you, but I'm just like saying it goes back to to prove that women don't want us in spaces.
They still identify you as men when it
definitely
serves them.
When it serves them, definitely. I've had women who would say, I mean, my ID says I'm female, but still they feel like, no, she's not, because to them, I need to live according to what they believe should happen to me. And when it suits them, they know they're going to benefit something out of having me there, then I should come forward. It's just so unfortunate. We are always used as to tick a box.
I don't know if you have any closing words. Maybe speaking to your community. What's up, guys? It's me, Yaya. Or if you want to just send a message to ignorant people or what.
I just think, the day people choose positivity and see life differently and be more open-minded and not carry a lot of baggage. Is it baggage or baggage?
Depends on if you're South African or American. In America, it's baggage. In South Africa, it's baggage.
They would never... There are a lot of things that set you back because of your mindset, because of how you see life, of how you view life. And I always tell my friend, I know I'm going to have a big career abroad because everywhere I go, the first thing that people see is my smile, my positivity. If there's a problem, I always try and find how can we fix, instead of saying, but why you shouldn't have done this. Do you understand? All the time, you know? And I think that's what has allowed me to get into so many spaces that I was never initially allowed to be at. Because even when people are trying to be nasty, I don't give them the nastiness back. I don't become a bitch, So maybe if people were to really try and choose to be positive, they will see a lot of change. Because they don't have to constantly think that people don't like them, people are against them. Because of course people are, okay, what then? So we just need to be positive and be happy beings.
Yaya Mavundla, thank you so much for coming through. I'm inspired by your story, by your mental strength, and by your willingness to just engage us, especially on the things we're more ignorant about. And I know your career is still going to be sensational. And Uguti uzosvakashela for now. Because later on, I'm sure your PA won't let us through.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny because I was talking to the management that I'm working with. So I found management in the US. So there's something that you're supposed to shoot. So it's supposed to shoot something. So she wants me to have security for that. I said, I'll never do that. Because that just makes me inhuman, I really believe that people that want to have access to me, they should have access, unless I'm wearing expensive jewelry, then I need security. Other than that, there's no need for me, to do that. If somebody have had my number, want to reach me, they should. I know people who are like mega stars who are still reachable.
Thank you so much for coming to the panel show, and I hope I'll sit down with you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.